Welcome to Goldboys Live, presented by Pickett Sports, Sleeper Picks, Hall of Fame bets. We are already in the chat. Inspector Danger says something I completely agree with. It feels like Christmas Eve, the night of football is tomorrow. So, Brian, Brad, boys, what's going on? We'll do a bunch of baseball. We'll get to the Kelsey news. I guess we'll start with that. Kelsey's hurt. We're seeing some 4.5s, some fours. How does this news affect your betting?
It actually it doesn't. I don't think I was too in love with anything in terms of the spread of the total, which made me feel confident that I could comfortably look at player props differently with Travis Kelsey out. But I'm not gonna be firing away on a ton of stuff. I did lock in one bet yesterday. And my bet that was already locked in I love it more if Kelsey's out.
That's fair.
What is that?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. Someone in the chat also
That's
says
Patrick Mahomes over 16.5 rushing yards. It's a consensus 17 now.
Yeah,
Ooh,
no, we
half
talked about
yard of CLV there. Nice.
yeah, but I will say when it comes to quarterback rushing totals, though, the small CRVs is a huge difference. When we're
huge.
talking about these short things. Yeah, someone in the chat says don't fall for fake news. Kelsey's playing. Even if he does play, it's just so hard to, try to guess early week one injuries because it's not like this is a major game for the Chiefs where they 100% need him to be playing 85, 100% of snaps. So
I'm going to ask you guys, what's the odds of him playing? Like, what would be a line? Because before that, there is some baseball game that one I bet that's about to start under 4. I think there's 4.5 still out there. DraftKings Bet Rivers, Cleveland, Minnesota, first 5 under Gavin Williams against Ryan. So
I like that.
I am on that one. Yeah. What's a fair line? What number would you need on Kelsey to play? Like plus 500, plus 300? Like, what do you guys think is a fair line?
Probably plus 250 because you said play and not play often.
Yeah, I don't think he suits up. I just think week one.
I don't think he suits up. There's no reason for him to suit up.
Yeah, you're trying to win a Super Bowl. Let's not have this thing linger. If you're not back to week 4, you know what? We can go 2-1 without you. Like, let's make sure he's okay. I don't know.
It's a non-divisional non-conference game. Right. It's the week 1 non-conference. It's not like it's the game that you want to push them, especially when it's such a fresh injury. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I don't know how to interpret it because there's 2 things here. There's Andy Reid, Mahomes. Like, Andy Reid is great week 1. He's great after a bye. So if you give him time to prepare, he usually does a really good job of scoring points. And Detroit's, I mean, who knows if they've gotten a little better. They've been so bad on defense that you figure Kansas City can still move the ball really easily. But, man, no Hill last year. All right, we still have Kelsey. Now no Hill, no Kelsey. It's a bunch of unknowns at receivers. Tony's hurt. The other side of the ball, no Chris Jones, no Frank Clark. Snead, who knows if he's going to play. Like, if I had to bet it, and I think there's a better bet out there I already gave out. I'll touch on it again. I'd probably take the points. I could see it like Kansas City's up 10 late, and Detroit's got the ball with a chance to backdoor. They always backdoor. So I don't know. Any thoughts on the side? The total to me,
Detroit are the kings of the backdoor.
Yeah, they are.
Well,
Detroit's such a funny number, right?
What's up?
Yeah.
It's saying 4 is a funny number. I just think Detroit's offense is so good in terms of they didn't lose games last year because they couldn't score points. They just couldn't defend for anything. So they're the kings of those. All right, we have 2 minutes left. We're down 10. Let's just make it look better because it's not like their offense is really struggling, especially if they're playing softer defense late in the game.
So I bet over 51.5 back in May. It got up to 55.5 yesterday. I had this fat middle set up, and now that this injury has totally sucked the value out of it. Now, 52 and a half.
52.5, yeah.
It is crazy though. I credit to Travis Kelsey. Name me another tight end that is giving you 3 points.
I mean, he's basically a receiver, though. I mean,
I know, but I'm just saying in terms of
dude, it was crazy. Like 38% target share last season.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great. He's unbelievable player, and he's such a safety valve for for Mahomes. As just a quick update on the baseball going on. It's 3-1 Brewers in the second. Adames homered and Hayes homered. Victor G mentioned Ke'Bryan Hayes has been smashing. He absolutely
has been.
In Minnesota,
I would like Peralta to get a K on this at bet to make me happy.
What does he have? How many does he have so far?
He has 2.
The Pirates offense has been looking great recently too. It's kind of funny to think about. They're doing that classic give the fans hope for next year because they've looked good as of late, except for yesterday getting shut out. They've actually been hitting the ball a lot better.
Gavin Williams walks the leadoff guy, so I'm going to officially lose my first 5
Yeah.
unders. Sorry if you guys played that. That bet
Those are
is
my
not
favorite bets. I text Ryan props, our friend Ryan, sometimes where like I'll have like a strikeout over. It'll be like 2 walks in the first inning. I'll text him. Well,
so
that was
rare.
a fun one. He's like, dude, calm down.
No, no calming down. No calming down. Should we stick on the football, or you guys want to give out baseball plays?
Oh, actually, I would like to talk about the football one more second because you mentioned your play. The play I locked in too, as we talked about it, kind of in line with what you bet. Will is just I love this Lions offense. I really do think it's fun, and I was trying to find a way to back them in a way from the prop perspective. I think Gibbs is going to be really involved. I think Montgomery is going to be involved in the pass game. Amon-Ra St. Brown is just an elite. I love him too in terms of his volume. I actually settled on I took Jared Goff last night over 252 passing yards, 252 and a half. I think in terms of, trying to back a receiver or a tight end prop or a running back prop week one can be a little bit difficult because you don't know exactly who's going to get involved the most. But if you're banking on one of those or multiple people getting involved, I just think it's better to back the quarterback here. I think he has this potential some games to just absolutely explode. And without Chris Jones, they're not gonna have any pass rush, and I just think he's gonna have all day to throw the ball and do well with that.
Yes. Peter Schrager said the other day on NFL Network, Jahmyr Gibbs was his pick for Rookie of the Year, and he goes, I hesitate to even call him a running back because based on what I've heard, he's going to be very involved. They're almost going to use him almost like a receiver. So, look, I bet over. I think it was 27.5 receiving yards when I gave it out. 29.5 is fine. 30.5. I just bet, and I'll probably give it out here in a minute. Over 59.5 plus 440 at Bet Rivers. That was the highest number it went to. I mean, I could see with this Chiefs defense beat up. I mean, he could get that in 1, 2, 3 catches.
One carry.
Yeah, or in one catch.
Yeah. I will. You know what? Also, I like. I didn't lock this one in yet because I still need to shop it. Was
that's how much he likes it.
His longest reception over 12.5 yards.
I like it.
That too. I think that's where I settled. Where I really wanted to back Gibbs. I also really liked Amon-Ra's number at 75.5, whatever. I just like too many of these receiving props where I settled like, you know what, someone's gonna make a big play and it's gonna help Golf out a lot. So I went with just backing his yards there.
Yeah, I mean, the game's tomorrow. We'll do plenty of it tomorrow. So I mean, I don't know, how much. If you guys have anything else on this, I just think the Kelsey news is so newsworthy that we had to, we had to get to that. What else have you guys played in baseball? I have a bunch. I hate when I like.
I just posted mine in my channel, so
because I don't want to read your channel, dude. I hate when I like.
I was saying that I could give it out here. I was just saying I literally just posted.
Go, what you got?
I honestly, I didn't know you had a channel. I looked at the video earlier. I didn't even see your name listed. Yeah,
my name was not on the video. I think I got booted from all things. I'm surprised that you guys can see my face on the screen.
Yeah, they're gonna blur it out and post later.
It doesn't work anymore.
I went Spencer Strider over 17.5 pitching outs, parlayed with Carlos Alcaraz versus Zazrev. Minus 128 odds. Strider's gone at least 6 in like 7 of his last 8 starts.
12 of his last 13, actually. That's
okay. I don't have the big board pulled up, but thank you, sir.
No, I'm backing Strider too, so it's fun.
Okay, cool.
Same thing, yeah.
Hell yeah! And then Alcaraz was just a good price. I didn't want to take any baseball alts here. I just if I were to do an all day tennis play, it would have been Sabalenka, Medvedev, Alcaraz parlay. This kind of gets me kind of out of that all day tennis parlay where one of the favorites gets upset. But Sabalenka is going to destroy. She's about to win this second set. So,
if you guys like Strider tonight, if you think he pitches well, is it worth taking a shot at him plus 550 to win Cy Young at FanDuel? Steele's pitched well. He's right in the race now. He had a huge performance the other day. It's Snell minus 200. Snell's next couple of games, though, are at the Astros, at the Dodgers. He keeps continuing to walk people, but he doesn't give up any runs. And Victor G asked a question I do want to get to in a minute. Do you guys think Strider at plus 550 is worth a shot? Just general takeaways here, Cy Young.
I think if you're going to
I thought it was worth a shot at plus 360, and I feel like every expert shut me down.
I feel like if you're going to do it, it'd be happy.
He just played Dodgers, Astros.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna do it, it's got to be before, because I do think the Cardinals have been so up and down that this is a start where if you're gonna get it, this might be kind of like the peak. Unless he obviously if he blows up, you lose your gamble. But if you're gonna do it, I do think getting over plus 500 before he has this stretch of games compared to Snell's stretch of games, it'd be now or never.
Yes, I think he's very live. I would recommend that plus 550. And some people have bets on, bets on him already, bets on other guys as a hedge. So I mean, like if you had let's just go into the assumption you have no bets whatsoever, plus 550 to me is a perfectly good bet. Williams strikeout, so we're out of the top of the first, leadoff walk, nothing else.
Nice, Will.
So nice, dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, I was gonna say was to kind of like piggyback. You'll never see me do this. I played it as the Goldboys Play of the Day channel we have. I hate having same game parlays where sometimes I'll back like a player like performance double for MLB. This is a 3-leg parlay, but I do think it kind of fits in the same thing. I did take Strider 8 strikeouts today with the over 17.5 outs and the Braves money line, so it was plus 105. And I feel like I'm only okay taking it in that way because I think the 8 strikeouts in the 6 innings is so correlated in terms of just sheer having to be on, the mound for that long to get that kind of strikeouts. But yeah, his 6 outs and 8 strikeouts have been almost like I want to say 75-80% win rate on the year. He's just been so good recently. They've won in 11 of 13 of his games. So I just think that they're not going to drop 2 games in a row here. The Braves, that is, and he, like I said, 11-2. On that combo of 8 strikeouts at home. So I think he's just going to have a great game. I think it's one of those, if he blows up, he blows up, but how do you not back this guy right now? That's all I'm going to say.
I don't mind parlaying Braves money line with some football game you like, some big underdog. I don't know. Like if you don't want to lay the 4.5 with the Chiefs, if you just think they're going to win, I don't know. Braves Chiefs money line is probably around even.
Dakota Hudson's not been good against good teams this year. He's had some good starts against poor teams, but when he has to play big bats, he's kind of gotten shelled.
I like a bunch today. I like the Cubs. The Giants have played terrible. I've been impressed with Wick. I like the Blue Jays, like minus 165 against the A's. Like if you're the Blue Jays, how do you not, like you got to beat the A's to get in. And we should mention this too. Like Rangers plus money to miss the playoffs. They have played awful. And Victor G mentioned Scherzer, Verlander on the mound. That's another one I want to get to. Like, because the Astros to me are going to run away with this West. The Rangers have played awful. Seattle's lost 4 out of 5. I know we talked, yeah, I remember we talked Friday. I was like, tough schedule coming up. Josh, like, it's not tough. It's the Mets and the Reds. Well, the Mets and the Reds have beaten them 4 out of 5. So the Mariners have pulled off here. I don't know. What would you say? Plus money on the Rangers to miss the playoffs, or take the Rangers plus 140 to miss, take Seattle plus 200 to miss. They play each other 7 times still. So one's probably going to knock the other out. You figure, hey, you just play both of them to miss. And if one of them misses, you profit. What's your takeaways on any of this stuff?
The Rangers have played some of the worst baseball I've ever seen in the last month. It's been crazy. Like, it sounds like dramatic. Yeah, like obviously that's a dramatic statement, but for how good as they were, their drop off has been almost unbelievable. like you see
last year, it's almost like the Mets last year. It's really this.
Like they're inventing ways to lose. What were they up? Like 4 or 5 runs in the 8th yesterday, and all of a sudden
they got killed yesterday. Altuve hit 3 homers in the first.
No, the Rangers. Yeah, so I for some reason I was
Mariners.
We're having the Mariners. I was just thinking like both of them, but yeah, like was it Altuve hit 3 home runs against them? Like they look pathetic. So they have just been absolutely.
What's the betting angle? How would you bet it?
I know I like how you said both, but I don't even know if it's worth switching the juice there. Just I would back the Mariners to make it over the Rangers and just take the plus.
So bet Rangers plus 140 to miss.
Yeah,
I don't think they're making it. Toronto, they're now out of the playoffs. It's amazing. They had this huge lead in the division. Like they're up 7 games in the West not that long ago, and now they're out of the mix altogether. Toronto's got a pretty easy schedule coming up, and Texas has a brutal schedule. They still got to play Toronto 4 times. They play Seattle 7 times. They play the Astros a bunch of times. So I feel like the Astros are going to win the West. Mariners probably get a wild card. Toronto gets a wild card. So I don't know. It's boy, that would be a brutal collapse for Texas.
Brutal collapse, and especially since they were buyers at the trade deadline. That's what makes it even worse.
Yeah. I wanted to get to Victor G's question because it was something I probably should ask you guys too. He says Justin Ross getting some play Thursday? ? Balled out in preseason. Yeah, that's the question. That's a question I should have asked. If we assume Kelsey's out, like there's an opportunity somewhere. Somebody's going to get the opportunities, the touches. Is it Sky Moore? Is it Justin Ross? Who's undervalued on the Chiefs in terms of the receiving props? What's it? Blake Bell's his backup tight end. Like, where would you guys go if
I actually pulled these stats. I pulled the stats of when Travis Kelce's out of lineup, which has only been 3 times without Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes goes from like a 38% snap target share to the distribution is 42% to receivers playing on the outside and it goes down from slot receivers from like 30 to 20. So you want to look, he's going to play more towards the outside than towards the inside of the field. Does Justin Ross get play? Probably. I'd probably lean on Sky Moore over 42, but I still think that number was a little inflated. Let me look it up to see what he opened up at, because I think like 32 and a half is probably a number I'd feel more comfortable playing.
I thought it was 36 and a half. And Super Stone Bro, do you guys think Sky Moore receiving yards prop has value without Kelsey on the field?
Yeah.
Was it 36 and a half? I could probably look it up. That might be
pull it right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things where me and Brad kind of talked about yesterday. It kind of sucks to us before the Kelsey news, but man, it's so hard to trust anybody on this offense in terms of backing them in a prop stance other than Kelsey. And then when you take Kelsey out, it's almost just you kind of just feel like you're playing like Russian roulette a little bit.
But that's good. You could take a flyer on, like, somebody's gonna pop. Like, that's a bad defense. Yeah. It's Mahomes. They're at home. It's Andy Reid with extra time to prep. If you like, there's some lottery potential if you hit the right guy.
Yeah.
Do we think this? Do we think maybe they run the ball more?
Super stoner, bro. I think Mahomes likes his slots, but like,
he said slots.
Not necessarily outside of the red zone. So like, that's why I would take like a slot receiver in the red zone for sure. Like, score a touchdown.
44 and a half for Moore.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels high.
I do think if anyone's going to do it, it would be Moore, just because he has so much more of that gadget potential too. I mean, how many times
Justin Watson, like Noah Gray.
We've seen it too with those little motion plays they have where it's a little like, shotgun snap and they toss it forward, and technically it's a run play, but on the stat sheet it's a pass play, so that kind of counts. So I think Sky Moore just has more of that gadget potential than some of these other guys that you have to rely on true traditional style passing game.
I mean, if I was going to take a chance on Sky Moore, 100 plus is plus 850. That's the way to go. Like, there's somebody with the potential to go off. Like, high variance, I'm always looking for like a huge plus sign. I would look at 100 plus at plus 8. Like, somebody, there's an opportunity for somebody. Yes. And I think the books think that too, because they're not offering you that many options for Chiefs guys. Boy, Kelsey's up there, but they're not offering you, they're not offering you Blake Bell. They're not offering you Justin Ross alternate. Are they even putting up a number on Justin Ross?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any Ross.
They're scared. They're scared. That's the definition. No, that really.
No, yeah.
What else would it be? Like,
that's the definition of scared. What about MVS? Like, God, 39. If this dude could catch, I probably would take MVS. He's been under in 7 of his last 10, but how many of those had Travis Kelce?
Right. And how many of those are against a Lions defense that is hot garbage? Let me see if FanDuel has any more options here.
8 targets, 2 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets, 2 targets, 5 targets, 3 targets. Wow.
There's some middles here if you want to play both sides. Like, I don't know, 42 and a half for Valdes-Scantling on FanDuel, and it's 39 and a half on DraftKings, and then it's 43 and a half on FanDuel for Moore, and 46 and a half on DraftKings. So you got some 3 or 4 yard middles here if you want to just throw $50 on each. It's not like you're tying up your money that long. I mean,
for a day.
Probably just going to burn the juice, but those are decent sized middles. I don't know what you guys think about that. Make sure, if nothing else, make sure you get the best number. I'd make sure you're not playing over 46 and a half when you could have over 40.
The only thing that sucks with the idea of the middle is kind of how you were saying earlier, how you got to try to find the guy that's going to boom. And if they don't boom, they're probably going to bust. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of these that, it's like, oh yeah, Sky Moore was okay. I feel like it's going to be like Sky Moore was even on the field, or holy shit, he got 150 yards. It's like one of those kind of things.
Because no Tony, right? Tony's out too.
Yep.
Man, that guy never plays.
I might take Sky Moore over 100. Let me check Sky Moore real quick. And like, everyone's been talking about Sky Moore being the man at camp.
Yeah. I mean, I loved him in college, and I loved him coming out. I thought he'd have a bigger role last year.
I did too. He had a big role late.
Super Bowl, he had a big punt return, or that was Tony with the big punt return, but he had some moments in the Super Bowl, I think.
Didn't he score a touchdown in the Super Bowl?
I think he did. Everyone scored a touchdown.
Not gonna lie, I have the I have the Super Bowl blacked out in my memory, so I forget everything that happened.
Oh yeah, you do. That was the biggest bet I think I've ever won. Cash. I won over 10 grand. That was the biggest bet I've ever won.
On what side?
On that prop I sent you. Touchdown in every quarter or whatever it was.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
Anything else baseball? I really like over 9.5 Colorado, Arizona. I don't think I mentioned that
I like
one.
that
I mean,
too.
those
I
two
actually
pitches, like, come on.
I like that as well. I think you mentioned I want to touch on it earlier. You mentioned the Blue Jays. I think it's interesting. Their team total for first five, it's juicy at -150, but they're getting 1.5 against JP Sears.
They
I
only
just
have
feel
to
like
go over 1.5?
for the first 5 innings, yeah, that
That's a
seems like
play.
a
That's a play.
even if you're like me sometimes and you like to parlay some juicy baseball stuff, like 2 legs or 3 legs or whatever. I just feel like 1.5 against they mashed lefties. I
Yeah,
mean, they took a while to get their offense going yesterday, but then they
sure
exploded in the
did.
sixth and seventh. So that's the only worry there. But I mean,
Sure did.
Sears's over under for earned runs is 2.5 at like -125. I don't see him going much more than 5-6 innings, so I feel like getting 1.5 is kind of. I mean, that's a bloop and a blast, quite literally.
Yep, that's certainly yeah, that's one I'm
So
surprised.
JP
I thought you were
Sears
gonna say
last
2.5.
no JP Sears last
What
week he
book
had
is
his
that, by the
first
way?
DraftKings.
Okay.
Sears had his first good start, like that I can think of like the entire season last time. I just don't see, like I mean he had like an ERA of like 9 last month, and then he had a good start his last time out in like the first day of September. I just don't see him being the guy that has back to back shutout starts. It just doesn't seem like that's in his bag of tricks.
No, I'm with you. So strikeout here for Ryan. We are through one inning, scoreless first in Minnesota,
How many
Cleveland. So
Ks does he have?
I
Do you
didn't
know?
check. Yeah, I think yeah, I don't want to say the wrong thing. He struck out the last
Okay,
guy. He might have gotten another one in there.
that's cool.
But we got a nerfy there in Minnesota, Cleveland,
Nice.
Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, still 3-1. How many Ks does your boy Peralta have, Brad?
3.
Okay. Okay. This was before. I mean, the game started before our show, so Brad I think is on over 6.5. I'm on under 7.5. So there's some room in the middle where we can meet. We can both
Yeah, we
enjoy
can do this.
7. Was that a double play? No, he didn't get the guy at first. So he's at 3. I don't know what his pitch count is, but we're
48.
ooh, I'm in decent shape. It's gonna be hard for him to get 8, even he's
It's gonna be really hard to
Honestly,
get it.
I'll say this right now. This is like 50 pitches, 3 strikeouts. This is kind of like the perfect middle opportunity. If you had the under 7.5, I feel like you're safe. Like you're feeling safe. But if you had over 6.5, you're also feeling pretty safe. Probably a good feeling for either side there.
another K prop I like, both same game. Schmidt and your boy Matt Manning under for both of them. It's 4.5 for Matt Manning again. It's
Yeah, I am
6.5
tired
under.
of Matt Manning. You can
Well, you
never
know, I
tell
like
Josh
it.
this.
These teams, it was 5
Matt
days ago, these teams
Manning.
faced each other. So this is always, I think this is always an advantage for the hitters when you see a guy twice in 5 or 6 days. So
Yeah.
getting to 5 strikeouts for Manning when he didn't do it the other day, getting to 7 for Schmidt when you just saw these same teams 5 or 6 days ago, I think is hard. So I would play under on both of them.
Yeah,
Little juice for a couple of them, of course, shop around, get the best number, but I like both those under K props.
I agree. I can't even look at Matt Manning because if you remember what he had 4 strikeouts the first like 2.5 innings, and I just like didn't check the rest of the day.
He struck out the side to start the game.
Yeah, and then he didn't get. I had over 4.5, and it was one of those things where I didn't really put much money on it, and I had a middle opportunity with under 7.5, so I wasn't too concerned about it. But at like 6 o'clock, someone texted me. I was like, "I can't believe Manning didn't go over," and I was like, "Wait, what?" And I had to like run to my
Yep.
ESPN app and be like, "Holy shit, how did that even happen?"
Yeah. It's anything else we haven't touched on? I kind of like your Phillies today with Wheeler. That's a nice number for Wheeler. I know.
I like him, but I just can't bet on the Phillies because they are like the biggest wild card in the world. They're gonna put 9 runs or they're gonna get no hit. It's so weird.
You know,
They
it's annoying.
scare me in the playoffs for that because I don't think a team can beat them when they're playing like how they can, but I also don't think they can ever beat a team if they're playing like they did last night, where they just
Well, I
were
think
lifeless.
I think Atlanta can beat them if they're playing, no matter how they're playing. I think Atlanta can beat them, but
Well, I'm just saying if
I know what you mean. They're high. They're a high
Yeah.
variance. We talked about that with the with the receiver props for Kansas City. They're very high
Yeah.
variance. I would agree with that 100%.
Like what was it last year against the Braves when they won
Yeah.
4 games? It was like, dude, this team is it, and then they got no hit in the World Series, and you're like, all right, pick a lane, brother. Like, come on, like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Well, how about this one? Sorry. Sky Moore, 1 touchdown and 100 receiving yards, 16-1.
That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. What book is that?
I'm just looking at different specials. I'll come with a good answer when I'm done shopping these.
How'd you see it then? If you didn't see
That one's on offshore.
okay.
I'm just looking to see what. Oh my God, FanDuel's so annoying. I hate the press and hold that you're a human.
Oh
Yeah, it's
yeah,
annoying.
I was gonna say, well, looking at these prices, I actually might, even if I don't post it, I might end up with a Phillies money line ticket -110 because you kind of mentioned it. As bad as it looked yesterday, we say it all year. The Padres get priced like they're
Yeah,
these
like they're
like
undefeated. It's
Yeah,
like
they do all the
like
time.
I'm sorry because I'm a big Phillies fan, obviously I'm a big Zach Wheeler fan, but Zach Wheeler versus Michael Wacha is like
Yeah,
that's not an even line, right? Like, am I stupid?
right.
Like it's
No,
not like
that's
the
not.
Padres offense is tearing the cover off the ball this season. That's I actually
It's
didn't realize it was down to there.
it's like they set the line for every Padres game back before the season started, and they haven't adjusted anything. It's like, oh, this is
The
like
guy
this
got
100-win
fired.
team.
Like they had budget
Right.
cuts. That guy got fired, so they just haven't really adjusted him.
Yes. It's crazy. I totally agree with that. It's funny. Monday night, I bet Yurfie in the Rich Hill Walker game. I was like, man, somebody's going to score between these two offenses, these pitchers. And I was like, I'm just going to play yes run every inning. And I forgot to do it after the first, and it hit every inning except the eighth. So I felt like I have so much money
Damn.
on the table doing it. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, that's
Super
rough
Stoner
one.
Bro, Sky Moore, 2 touchdowns is 10-1 on Caesars. Just wanted to throw that bone out there. Again, I don't hate any of these. Like somebody's
I don't
going to
hate it at
pop.
all.
There's an opportunity, whether it's Justin Ross, whether it's Moore. Like there's
no Sky Moore
True.
on FanDuel, so just FYI.
And
Yeah.
Sky Moore's fun because we talked about the gadget plays. You know, he doesn't have to necessarily catch a touchdown
Exactly.
like a traditional way. They like those weird plays inside the 15 as well.
If you guys had to just take the 4, lay the 4, call it 4.5. I guess FanDuel has 5.5. What would you guys do with the point spread? We'll talk more about this tomorrow, obviously.
I would lay the 4.
I'm really high on the Lions this year, and I still probably would lay the 4. I just think it's a better side. I just think it's a better side there, and I really like the Lions offense this year. But it's just I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't even touch the spread. I would just go with what you said, Will, and just find a way to back the over 52 right now. I just think that this should be. I know it's gonna be like really a lot of people are gonna want to bet overs on the first game of the season, but this seems like a game where it's like, how do you not? Like these teams should just explode.
Well, I think the worry would be Mahomes doesn't have his weapons, and the Chiefs are just a little more run happy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big Pacheco fan too. I love that dude. I think he's
Pacheco's number got up pretty high. I think it's like 50 now. 50
yeah.
That's for
I mean,
rushing.
he just runs so like goddamn. He runs so hard. It's crazy.
aggressively.
There was a span last year in the playoffs and like the 2 weeks beforehand when he kind of became the guy. His props were always like in the 40s, and I think I won like 6 out of 10, 8 times with them. Just because it was one of those things where I was like, everyone's just gonna keep betting it if he's gonna keep breaking off these like random 20-some yard runs. Like he's gonna get there. So he had really low lines last year.
Yeah, it's he's a perfect example of why you don't pick a running back high, why you don't pay a running back, because like he was one of the last picks in the
his
draft.
resurgence too was
it's literally every year we find at least 3 of
his resurgence was like the peak of that discussion last year, and he became the poster boy for that exact argument too.
Yeah.
He was just like, dude, look at this guy, he's on a great team and he's just putting up big numbers. Meanwhile, Clyde was hilarious. What has he even done?
Right. Good point. Absolutely good
Yeah.
point. Brad, before we bounce, Colorado, how much do you adjust their number? What's your thoughts here? Laying, I think it's 3 versus Nebraska. How shocked were you on Saturday? What's your general takeaway here with Colorado?
So my takeaway on Colorado, like I wasn't shocked that they covered the 20. I thought the spread was just a little too massive, seeing how we have like Chandler Morris paying quarterback for TCU. And it's not like what people forget is like they think like Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter were just these guys, like some dudes who are only good enough to play JUCO or play HBCU. Like Travis Hunter was the number 1 athlete in America. Shedeur Sanders was like number 18. So it's not like all that crazy. I am shocked they did get the win there on the road.
How much have you adjusted it? Do you do power ratings?
I do. I put them 25th.
Their number.
I put them 25th because if they're still able to score on anybody, they're going to be a dangerous team to beat. I'm going to have some leeway with moving them around, though, I think, because it's going to be hard to keep up that kind of production from your offense. And like when they play against not Nebraska, but they go later in the season, there's going to be teams that are going to be able to put up 50 and 60 points on it if they wanted to, just because that's how bad their defense is. I don't know if I'd bet them against Nebraska. It's massive letdown spot. Line already moved over 9 points.
11.5 points. It was 8.5 at the look ahead. No, 11.5 through the 0.
Yeah. 11.5 points.
I'm kind of in the boat where I actually like it's a cool story. It's fun to watch, but like you just talk about pure betting value. Like you almost want to back Nebraska just because of that huge, like, 8.5 to but plus 3.
100%.
I mean, I saw this morning there was like 3.5s out there. It's
And
crazy.
everyone's. I hate using this phrase. Everyone. A lot of the fans of college football who are justifying them betting on Colorado are saying, "What? How is Nebraska going to move the ball? Like, what? This is Colorado just gave up 1,000,000 yards themselves. It's not like Colorado was out there and locked
It was
them
a million.
down.
I think it was 1,000,002. Yeah, 1,000,002.
Yeah, so like,
so
I still think that people are a little overzealous. Let's look at these Colorado stats though, right? I have them up here.
So Will,
Their
I know
PFF
you.
grades. Their PFF defensive grade was 62. Man,
What does that mean?
out of 133 eligible teams, they were.
Okay.
I'll pull up. Hold on one second. It's like got to be like close to the bottom.
Yeah, let's say.
Like normally a good team's going to be like 80s.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like almost all the way to the bottom. I'm scrolling.
If you had to make a season win total for them, it was 3.5 before the game. How many games they win? What's a fair number?
I still think 4.5, the original number, was better. I think they win 4 games.
Ooh, so so I can bet you would put, man, 4. You still think they only win 4?
I think they beat. Now I'll tell you the games I think they win. I think they beat Colorado State is who they play. Colorado State.
What a catch!
Arizona State.
Jeez.
And then they steal one from either between Stanford, UCLA.
Okay. I mean, I'm surprised. I wonder. Have any books? Do they repost these? That would be one that would generate some interest where people would they have the.
I think the books are afraid to post this. Let me check. I just went to NFL Futures.
Yeah.
BetMGM, that was their biggest loss, their biggest single game loss ever in any sport. So,
shit, that's crazy. Yeah,
no
I will
win
say.
total.
Yeah, I'll say that the 21.5 was interesting. I did bet the plus 21.5 just because it just seemed, like you said, it seemed really flat, really like over adjusted there. And one of my friends was like, "Oh, if you like that, why wouldn't you just bet money line?" I'm like, "All right, that's a big difference."
Yeah,
between taking a plus 850 money line and also just think they're gonna keep within 2021. But I was
there were so many recreational bettors or just people who don't even bet that much, just betting it because like prime time 8-1.
What I found interesting is, with live betting, they usually adjust they have the pregame number, and sometimes they adjust, sometimes they don't. We mentioned that with the Padres. Yeah. That game, like Colorado was up 3, they had the ball, and they were still getting 3.5 late in the game. They were adjusting.
They were underdogs up until like the last possession, I think. Like up until they scored that touchdown, like that last touchdown on that like
they were
screen,
big underdogs for like most of the second half. Like,
well, I think they were up 7-0, and they were plus 340, and it was like, and I was on the air, so I said this on the air. This isn't like, hey, going back and saying something I didn't post. I was on the air at the time on VC, and I was like, hey man, this looks real. I know it's only one drive each, but they got to stop. They got a touchdown. They looked apart here. And
it looked really real.
340. It was plus 10.5. That was one where live betting, they never really retinkered with the number.
Yeah, if I didn't have like a good feeling in terms of like just having that ticket for plus 21.5, if I wasn't sitting there being like, okay, I already won money on this, I would have maybe looked to bet it. But I was just like, I don't want to ruin. I was at that point where I was like, this is fun, but I don't want to ruin the fact that I have good profit here by just getting too cute and then watching them like you somehow blow it in the end. So it was definitely
like Dion.
Do I like Dion?
Yeah.
I mean, he's fun.
Yeah.
I just think that what he brings to college football is good for college football.
I agree with
I think it's going to be hard as he starts to get at bigger and better schools. Like, because he's a showman, dude. And the best thing about him, even in his playing days, is he was always able to back it up. But if you go to a big time school, Power 5 school, and you're not backing it up with all that, it gets old fast.
He was very quick to victory lap. Like, you know what? It's only one game. The media is going to turn on him when he starts to lose, and he's going to lose some games. Like, let's just say he goes 6-6, 5-7. Like, man, it's not like he won a national championship and you're talking. Like, I get it. It was a great win. You got a right to be happy and be excited, but I thought he went a little too far. And now you're putting pressure on your team, your kids to like, hey, if you lose this week, like, what did that upset really mean? Now you're 1-1, and like you take a victory lap. I don't know.
it's just always gonna be the biggest story every single week. Yeah, like every single week, it's just gonna be like the story that
Yeah.
everyone wants to watch or everyone wants to do. So it's kind of it puts them in the spot. I was watching like the kids afterwards, like the players that they did some of the interviews, and even they were up. Like it's all cool to be pumped up, but as you said,
Right.
if you can't back it up, it starts to fall down from the graces really quickly. I don't know if you guys saw Brian Kelly, like his whole thing where they asked him in an interview, they're like, so what do you think about the fact that you said you're going to beat the heck out of Florida State and you couldn't back it up? And he was like, that
I
doesn't
didn't say it.
like, that doesn't sound like anything I would say. And like, well, we have the audio of you saying that. It was like, oh, I don't know about that. Could be somebody else. So it's one of those things where people don't forget anything. So it definitely is going to be interesting to see how they handle the image at Colorado.
Ryan Rosillo made this point on his podcast. He's like, you know what? Jeff Saturday won his first game, and all the people in the media were like, oh, this is a new way of doing it. You don't need to do like people had this whole referendum on the whole
He's
coaching
still
process.
coaching, right?
No, he's not coaching anywhere. And they
That's my
never won
point.
another game. So it's like, you know what? You make these declarations after one game or these referendums like, oh, this is how you do it. This is how you don't do it. It's like, you know what? Sometimes one game is one game. So definitely interesting to keep
Let's
an
just
eye on.
say it's going to be fun. How about that?
Yeah,
I'm
oh,
excited
sure.
for
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for the player props to come up so I can just go ahead and hammer Jeff Sims over 50 rush yards, Sadur Sanders under 10 rushing yards. I'm hammering them both. That's all I care about in that game. That's all I'm gonna bet, and they're both gonna cash, and I'm gonna be happy.
When do those pop up?
Thursday evening, Friday, around those times.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know, Will, you're big into. I know in baseball you're big into say like playing a nerfy second inning, third inning, like kind of doing it over and over
Yeah.
again. That's my extent because I was in New Jersey, so usually in Pennsylvania we don't get any college football props, and I just kept live betting Sanders. Like it was like 250 passing yards, 350 passing yards, 400. Like, and I was like, I mean, there's still plus money. I took 500 at like plus 130. I mean, took 500 at plus 300 when it was like 4 minutes left and he needed, one drive. It was all passing. And that last pass play, he got him to 510. And I was like, oh, that was really fun, actually. That was
Yeah.
like, it could have easily blown up in my face, but I was like, I don't know, neither team's playing slow or defense. So might as well just keep doing that. So I just kept playing the increments by 50 live.
All right, boys. We'll wrap on that. We went a little longer than usual, but we covered a lot. This was a fun show. Brad, Brian, our last day before the NFL season starts. Definitely a Christmassy feel. So thanks to you guys. Thank you to Pickett, Sleeper, Hall of Fame Bets, everyone in the chat. You guys were fun today. Asked some good questions. So 1:00 Eastern tomorrow, we'll be breaking down Chiefs, Lions, a whole bunch of other things. So appreciate you guys listening. See you tomorrow.